Trees look like lollipops, honestly. They kind of do. They look like acidic brown lollipops. It's not very cool looking. Hey folks, it's me, Marsman01. Today we're going to be hopping back into Historically Crafturate and doing the early classic versions. These are the versions from Classic 11A to Classic 14A. So, let's hop right into it. Wait, before I go, I need to show you the new intro for this series. Here we are. This is Classic 11A, right? Actually, no. This is technically Classic 12A. However, no major updates were actually added in this version, so I'm going to go over every update that happened from Classic 2A to Classic 11A. First off, one minor addition that got added was the crosser. It's now significantly bigger. Also, an entire new placing mode thing. And mouse unlocking has been added. Simply just press escape and my mouse can be moved. And then you can click to enter back in. So nothing much really changed. All's basically the same. All of the same things. Other than the sapling texture got changed. If you saw my previous video, you may have seen the old sapling texture. It was supposed to look like this. And it looks like a sagging old tree. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this version. So I'm going to go to the next one. Alright, that was pretty quick flash, but did you just see that flash on screen? Yup, that is the new level loading screen, which basically stayed the same for the entire 14 years since it was added, basically. So, it kind of got modified just a slight bit throughout the years, but that's basically the entire main idea of it. Also in this version, added water and bedrock. Both are currently unobtainable, and if we go to, let's just mine down here, you can see that the water is just a pixel thick, and you can't walk under. It's literally 1 pixel tall. Let's go down here, and there is a world, I guess, block limit right down here. Also, there is a bug in this version that if you look up on the screen, you cannot see any of the displays of the items. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see them all in the placing mode. 6 is the only one that shows up on screen, which is kind of strange. So that's all this version adds. A lot of these versions are very minor, so I'm going to group a few of them together. Our next version is Classic 13A. Now, it's gone this long, and we still haven't stated what the actual meaning of all of these, like, classic version names mean. So, the first part, the numbers, are just referring to the version of Classic that it is. So, Classic started on Classic 0.0.2A. There's no record of 0.0.1A existed, but we can infer that that version existed. The A after the version number means alpha. Why is this? I don't know. So, there's that. And also, if we press escape, there's a menu tab. This is the earliest mock-up of a game menu. We can generate a new level, save, and load. This is pretty basic. So I need to use an add-on, which I gotta code in somewhere. and a load level, which I also gotta use the same thing. But I can generate a brand new level, and see this generating level thing, that's gonna be the same. And if we kind of move to the top of this hill, over there, you can see that all of these maps generate as sort of an island formation now. So there's like different land masses instead of just one big mainland. So I'm gonna get myself over to one of those islands. Alright, so now that I've made it kind of to these islands, you can start to see that it's an island formation. And even in the earliest days of water being added, it still has that blue haze. Although it's not as annoying as it is now, because the render distance, there's no way to change your render distance. Other than pressing F, which doesn't really add fog, it just chunks. Which I think is better in my opinion. But who am I to judge? I play modded Minecraft all day. So that's pretty much it for this version. I will go to the next one, which is a pretty big update, so be okay. Alright. This is Minecraft Classic 14A_08. 14A08 didn't add anything, but 14A, all of its additions combined, make an extremely crazy, massive update. So for one, as you can see, I'm just roaming around here. There's sand, there's gravel, there's trees. Trees look like lollipops, honestly. They kind of do. They look like acidic brown lollipops. It's not very cool looking. They also all generate the same-ish, I guess. Kind of like how trees are too. And also, if you noticed, I can actually use the scroll wheel this time to move my items, so I can do this really fast motion. Build mode's still in. But now the 5 key works so that it has to cram in all of the other, like 9 key is gravel. So 5 key is the sapling, and as you can see, it changed again to what it was in that previous version of the late pre-classic. Also, you may notice the planks texture has changed to be more of what it looked like from classic to beta. So it's gonna stay that way for a lot more episodes. Now, sound was also added in one of these versions, but it was since added in an unarchived version, so we do not know what the original sounds look like. They get added way into late classic. So, yeah, this is all that we have. So I think I'm gonna build a house, and I'm gonna test out a time lapse once I find. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. There's a gold ore, coal ore, and iron ore that all generate naturally, but are unobtainable. As you can see, all 3 of them. Iron ore and coal ore do not get changed until very later. The gold ore gets changed very recent. I'm gonna build out of here. This may be my play world for testing out more classic features. So when we get into multiplayer test, then we'll really get to see how it looks. So I'm gonna do some stuff real quick, and then I'll be right back with the time lapse. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, the generate new level tab now has an addition. We could generate small, normal, or huge levels. So let's go through each of them, and we'll be able to see what they look like. So a small level is 128 by 128 blocks. This is a pretty good flat area. And one bizarre thing I'm noticing is half of the island just does not have any sand on it. So that's pretty weird. Oh yeah, the gravel texture also looks like pebbles, and it doesn't look anything like the current or even the old gravel texture. that'll be changed in the first multiplayer test version, which we'll cover in the next episode. So let's generate a normal level. Normal levels are 256 by 256 blocks, and they are the level that generates normally upon creating a new instance of this version, of pretty much any classic version. Pretty much every version generates a normal level up until InfDev. So we have this beautiful landscape, and then we can generate a huge level, and it will take a while. Also, will decrease the FPS by a lot, because you could see we were at like 2,000, and now we're at 500, so it definitely got rid of our FPS by a lot. But yeah, a huge level is 512 by 512 blocks, and yeah, it's definitely huge. So yeah, you can kind of see. Also, fog was added, and clouds. So if you look up, yeah, you can see all these clouds. They don't really move. They do. They do actually move. They're also thin, and you can't change them. Also, fog was added. If we press the F key, we can add the fog, go in a bit, in even more, and then that's it. So, I'm going to build a house with the new blocks in a normal world. So I'm going to see you in the time lapse. Back. Welcome to my house. The outside's looking pretty bland because I'm waiting until slabs get added so I can add a bit of texture to the outside. So let's head on inside. Wait, I got some shrubbery. On the inside here, there are no windows because there's no glass. There's no door because there are no doors. Those do not get added for quite a while. There is a creepily lit table because it's under a sunroof made of leaves, and this weird couch, which is actually a bunch of sand. That's pretty much it. I just added a little cobblestone siding, cobblestone roof, stone floors, wood house. Basically it. I have a few finalizing additions that I want to say. So these versions, I think it was added in 13.A03, don't quote me on it, but the outline was added to the block selection, so that was added, and it's very thin. It's kind of impossible to see on darker blocks, but on this leaf you can definitely see a black line right there. Another thing that was added that came along with the sand and gravel was the fact that they fall just without an animation. So right here, sand will fall. It just doesn't have an animation yet. Same thing with gravel. It will fall, it just doesn't have an animation yet. And that won't happen until alpha, so you gotta wait. That's pretty much all this version has to offer. And I think we're gonna wrap it up here, because then I might test out playing it with multiplayer and other things. So I'm gonna say toodles here. So I hope you enjoyed this video, learned something new, got interested in the history of Minecraft, and I'll leave it off here. As always, thanks for watching. Goodbye!